I'm a quantity surveyor, so we give advice to developers that how much it's going to cost. We manage risk. We do project management. We provide advice to financial institutions that fund development projects. But on the other services that we do provide is we provide property tax depreciations for property investors, and that's something that John JD's been helping me with.
Now, Harry deals with people who are normally in sports jackets, aren't they? They're business people, okay? By the way, Jonathan, we've got this going out to... Yep, okay. And in Harry's instance, when I was putting his marketing plan together, I've said to him, what do you reckon I've said to him about the sell once to many model? This model, okay? Is it hard to get to someone who is an executive? Yes, it is. It's hard to get to them because the thing is they got starts with G, got a gatekeeper. You can't get through that gatekeeper. Really, really tough. And so therefore, the best way to get through that gatekeeper is probably by doing something like one of these, whereby the gatekeeper gets this in the mail, and this is one of ours that invites rich people to dinner. And it goes something like...
Hi, John Dwyer is my name, and I'm the owner of the Institute of Wow, which is this business just behind me on the screen. And we're a marketing advisory business, and we're holding a boutique dinner for you, if you can come, and a dozen or so business owners. So it's a pretty boutique dinner, and you're probably asking, well, why?
Okay, so therefore that goes out. Do you think that's got a much better chance of getting past the secretary than a normal brochure or letter? Of course it does, right? Now, they're $20 a time from China, but if we send out 100 of them and we get 15 calls and then I can turn half of those calls into attendees, then I'll do that every day of the week. Okay, so therefore 100 times 20 cost me $2,000. I'm selling coaching programs which are tens of thousands of dollars, so my break-even point is really, really simple, really simple. This only works if you're selling products that are obviously a certain price. It's not going to work for you if you're selling a $39 whatever. Now, in Harry's instance, I've said to him and Elle, his wife, your girlfriend couldn't make it either this weekend?
Not this weekend.
Not this weekend. So he's brought his wife with him on this weekend, and that's nice because he doesn't take her out that often. So, because when I met Harry, it was just another one. I don't know. He said, "I'll keep that between us," and I have. So anyway, the thing is that he needs to get these guys into a room. The only way to get them into a room is to probably invite them to come to dinner with Mal Meninga. Now, he's in Melbourne, so it wouldn't be Mal Meninga, but I don't know any AFL players, okay? You give the AFL player or Kerry-Anne Kenley or whoever it is your version of Seinfeld, you give them $2,000 or $3,000 and they're an AFL player in Melbourne, they'll be there for dinner, okay? They will forget the fact that this could be a mousetrap. They will be there for dinner. And when people say to me, oh, look, I'm in the business, like in Harry's business, surveying, it's a conservative business, isn't it? I mean, you don't wake up this morning and get all excited about doing surveying, do you? Okay. It also helps with tax depreciation. So tax depreciation you might get pretty excited with, but I don't think anyone... Like I spoke at a... what was it? It was a convention of... they weren't Officeworks, they were... a competitor to Officeworks. It was a stationery company. I can't forget the name now, but I was sitting there. There was like a picture theatre sort of room, and I had 200 or 300 of these franchisees there. And I said to them, "You are in the most boring industry in the world." I just thought I'd get on with them pretty quickly. I said, "Who wakes up this morning and goes, oh, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy a ream of paper today, or I'm going to buy like an ink cartridge." And so therefore, because you are in the most boring business in the world, we've got to zip that up. We've got to do, my slide's gone now, but we've got to do what we did to the Tile Rescue guys' van, okay? We've got to do what we did to the Lottie guys' shop. We've got to wow this damn thing up. And they got it, thankfully. They didn't take it seriously. It was a joke. Now, in Harry and Elle's instance, surveying is, to them it's a sexy industry, but I don't think anyone woke up this morning with hard nipples saying the word surveyor, okay? So, so therefore, we have to sex it up and wow it up, but in a way that's conducive to their brand. I'm not being silly. You wouldn't do a lolly shop thing with him, okay? You do a lolly shop thing with Sporty's Warehouse because, with council permitting, you could double your trade if you just fixed up the front of the building, okay? Are you allowed to do anything there or not? Or does it just have to stay looking like shit?
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
Yeah, so look, the thing is that first impressions are lasting impressions. That's why Sporty's Warehouse already hates me. But the first impressions for retail, more than anything else, are really, really lasting impressions. And so therefore, in Harry's instance at the moment, his first impression is a website that is, he would admit it probably just needs some changes. The website was put together by John Moo, one of our suppliers, and John does a great job. So therefore, I'm not saying for a moment it's not a good website, but there are some things in there that we might want to zip up, which we're doing for him. But I believe that instead of Harry wearing leather out on his shoes and door knocking, and he doesn't do that, but I'm saying metaphorically going from prospect to prospect to prospect, get them all in a room like this. Get them all in a room like this and do it multiple times. And if you feel that what you've got as a surveying and tax depreciation service is not going to be sexy enough for them to give up home and away, then you should have an AFL player be a guest speaker on that night. And we all know what Melbourne people are like. They'll crawl over broken glass to come, snuzzle up to an AFL player. And so therefore, if you were women and you're holding high teas, because that's what you should do if you're attracting women, they will sell their firstborn to come to a high tea, then it may be Kerry-Anne Kenley, okay? Or it might be one of the girls from the Project TV show. And when you say to me, oh, we couldn't afford them, that's what everyone said about Seinfeld. Okay, now I've got Seinfeld, I've got Michael Jordan, we've had the X-Files people, we've had Meat Loaf, we've had Paul Hogan, Tony Barber, I can go on and on, Bert Newton, and all of these people were less expensive than what we thought they would be if you pitch it to them in the right way. Okay, there's a certain science to this, so there's no way that we would have got Seinfeld for the price that we got him for had I not gone about it the way that we did. We got Jerry Seinfeld for $1.1 million a year for 3 years, so that's $3.3 million we got Jerry Seinfeld for. Do you know Ricky Ponting gets more than that from Synovus Vitamins? Who would you prefer marketing your product, Ricky Ponting or Jennifer Hawkins gets more than what we paid Seinfeld? And it was the way that we went around doing it because they are not interested in the money. Jerry Seinfeld's got more money than God. He was interested in the creative. He was interested in the way that we were doing this because he thought it would be a bit of fun. And before we had Jerry Seinfeld, we had Robin Williams locked up, okay, for the same thing. So you're talking about these big stars. People think that they can't get near them, but you can. I'm not saying that Harry's going to have Jerry Seinfeld for dinner, but the AFL players, you'd be surprised what $2,000 or $3,000 will get you in terms of them just popping in, doing a quick half hour and then leaving. And if that's the chocolate chip cookie, let's call it, that's going to attract people to your party, then I think you should think about it. I think we all should think about it. Who thinks I milk the living crap out of the Seinfeld Association? Of course I do. I'm even sick of me, okay? But the thing is that why wouldn't I? I mean, how many people in their lifetime get to do that? So therefore, and it wasn't like a selfie. You see all these people on Facebook, oh, let's do a selfie. And I worked with him for 3 years, so it's a real deal. But if I didn't do that, I'd be nuts. Why wouldn't you exploit the daylights out of that? That immediately gets me attention that I probably wouldn't get had I not done that.
Jody, can I ask a question? So after the AFL present for half an hour and he's out the door, what happens then? So do you suggest that I go up and do my presentation?
Yeah, so you would do what sort of stuff that I'm doing here today. We're going to have some guest presenters here today. Tomorrow morning you've got the guy that ran Disney Resorts for 10 years and he'll be coming through on a Skype call from America. And he will start at 9 o'clock and go through till 10:30ish, and then I'll get on and do my thing. And then there'll be another guest speaker who'll talk about something else, then I'll get back and do my thing. So, because you guys don't want to hear me rattling for 2 days. And in your instance, if you had the AFL player, he would do his spiel for maybe 20 or 30 minutes. And then, I'm not saying he'd get on his bike and leave straight away, by the way. You want him to hang around. But then after he's finished, then, you would take the stage. And you would say to everybody, look, guys, this has been sponsored, as you would have seen in the invitation that came out to you. It's been sponsored by Northwind Surveyors, and so what we'd like to do is actually just invite you to have a look at the information pack which is on your table, and there's no such thing as an information pack, it's a sales pack, okay? So get information right out of your mind, because that's the problem with most of your websites. They're information website. You don't want an information website, you want a knock 'em down sales website, okay, which is what we want to turn Harry's into. And then you tell them exactly what you do over some slides. And it needs to be bang, it needs to be fast, okay? It doesn't have to be like a machine gun like me, but the thing is it needs to be reasonably fast. And what you need to do is take them through their problems and solutions. I mean, can I ask you, would any of you guys be here if you had enough money? Of course you wouldn't be, okay? You're here because you're finding that business, whatever business you're in, is a challenge, and that's the way it is. And you're looking for marketing assistance, that's why you're here. You wouldn't be here just to hear my dad jokes. Although I think you should be here to hear my dad jokes, but anyway. What are they going to call Bob the Builder when he retires? Bob. Harry, I'll just take that off you, and thank you very much for your support on that. I hope the whole lot of you die in your sleep tonight. You had your hand up for a question?
Yep. My name's David. Just a quick question with your guest presenter. Would you have them there at the beginning to smooze and let them talk at the beginning, or have them get at the end so they'll hang around and let them smooze at the end?
Yeah, look, I'd have them there for the entire thing if I could. So if it's a 6 till 8 p.m, which most of them would be, I'd have him or her, Kerry-Anne Kennelly, who are there for the whole thing, and then they do their little half-hour spiel. So if it was 6 o'clock, yes, have them mingling. If they don't want to do that, and some won't. I mean, there's a lady that we did this with in Toowoomba for an office furniture company, and she was from Hey Hey Saturday. She's the lady with the long legs, Rhonda Birchmore, okay? So what happens with these people, because they all have managers, whatever you decide that you're willing to pay, just offer them half of that and then they'll double it, okay? So that's the way it works. So therefore, in Toowoomba, I knew that Rhonda Birchmore was coming to town to the Toowoomba RSL, and it was the opening of this client's big office furniture shop, which was like twice the size of this, if not 3 times the size of this. And he said, oh, if only we could have a big opening with, a star. And I said, just check with the local RSL who's coming to town, because that's easy, you just pinch them. Because they're going to get paid 10 or 20 grand to sing or do somersaults, whatever they do, but they're going to be there the day before and the day after. Oh, okay, righto. And so we checked out, then Rhonda Birchmore was coming on whatever day that was, the Wednesday. And so I just rang up her, I said, what do you want to spend? And he goes, oh, what would she cost? I said, no, they don't work that way. You don't ring up Seinfeld and say, how much do you charge? He just says, how much will you pay? And then he doubles it. That's how it works. I've been doing this for quite a while. And so he said, okay, well, I guess we'd probably pay, I don't know, we'd probably pay $2,000 if she could come along and just sing a song or two and then leave. I go, good, okay, well, we'll offer 1,000. So that's what you do, and they come back and say, well, no, 1,000's not good enough, it'll be 2. You go, yeah, okay, fine. So that's the way it works. Seinfeld, we offered him $500,000. He said, yeah, we'll do it, $1 million. It's Robin Williams, same thing. They're all the same. So you just offer half of what you're prepared to pay, and generally that'll get you across the line. And you ought to make it easy for them. So when I'm doing the deal with Seinfeld, he ended up doing 42 ads for us every time we did it. But when he said how many ads, I said, 4, maybe 5. And he said, oh, okay. And then when I got together with him, I said, you know, the Greater Building Society is the largest TV advertiser in regional Australia. The word regional was a bit low. And he went, shivers, you kidding? The largest TV advertiser in Australia? Yeah, in regional Australia. We're talking Dubbo, And he goes, oh, I said, so Jerry, despite the fact that you're world loved and all this sort of stuff, we make 4 commercials, mate. Everyone's going to hate you within a month because you're just going to see too many of you, same thing. He said, well, how do we fix that? Have to do more commercials. We did 42, okay? Because he just kept on saying, give me something else, give me a country town. Yeah, we're in the middle of the street and he's doing this outside a supposed Greater Building Society, which was in the New York street, believe it or not, but we rebuilt the Building Society. And he'd say, give me another town. I go, Wagga Wagga. And he'd go, okay, because then he'd do his gag because he was a street, performance. And he says, oh, next week I won't be outside the Greater, I'll be outside the butcher shop in Wagga Wagga. And he said, well, give me another one. I said, Curry. He goes, just stop there. Have you got any names that are not repeated? And of course, if I said it, it wouldn't be funny, but he'd say, oh, next week I'll be outside the pharmacy, because it's as if he's come back doing street busking because his career had collapsed, right? That was the whole idea of it. Next week I'll be outside the pharmacy in Curry, so you better hurry, otherwise I could be in Curry, And he just pulls that out of here, and 80 crew just pissed themselves laughing. And if I said it, or you said it anyway, it wouldn't be funny because he says it, Mind you, the deal with Seinfeld was we had to pay for 3 comedy writers to be within 10 yards of him every time we did it. So what he would have, with 5,000 a day. So 5,000 for that guy, 5,000 for that guy. And he would just say, what do you think of this? What do you think? Because we're making shit up as we go, because we went from 4 to 42 commercials. And he has a girl that just basically follows him with an iPad and she types everything he says. And he says to her, what did I say 5 minutes ago? And she'll just say, you said this, that, and the other, and you'll pick out bits and pieces that, just talk to my machine. I've got no one following me doing anything,
They run from you.
Yeah, they run from me, yeah, exactly. Ian.
With Facebook Lives, can you give us a bit of a template or something we can work with?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, that's, Ian was just asking if we can go through a template with this Facebook Live thing. We'll do that in just a second. But what I want to see, the thing is, I spoke to someone outside who owns a pharmacy, and he was saying, look, this stuff about the loyalty program is really, really relevant for him because he's up against a 40-tonne gorilla. If you own a pharmacy at the moment, there's a very good chance you'd be driving to Bunnings to buy some rope. Because can you remember milk bars before 7-Eleven came along? We know there won't be any pharmacies in the years to come. They're just going to be wiped out by who? Chemist Warehouse. 7-Eleven wiped out all of the milk bars. And so therefore, the chances of a pharmacy surviving this assault from a 40-tonne gorilla is challenging, okay? And who thinks that if they try and take on Chemist Warehouse on discount pricing, they're going to win? It'd be like the hardware store trying to sell the wheelbarrow for 20% less than Bunnings. What are Bunnings going to do across the road immediately? Because part of their advertising campaign is if you give us any price, we'll beat it by 10%, right? So if the hardware store across the road says, look, when you buy a wheelbarrow from us, we'll give you a free shovel and a pitchfork to go with it, Bunnings will never match that. They can't. They'll take 6 months worth of committee meetings to work out which shovel and what fork and this, that and the other. They can't. You drop your pants by 20%, they'll match that like bang. The manager can do that. But if you actually put a value add, a Happy Meal toy with your wheelbarrow, they'll be having meetings in head office till the cows come home. You blitz them, okay? And that's why when we're talking, he could see the value in this promotions, these package promotions sort of things where you got the chance to win 50 grand or, you know, holidays and this, that and the other. Because on a reward program, it suits that sort of business down absolutely. Because, you know, for every $50 you spend in the pharmacy, you get one of these, you know, holiday vouchers. You save up X number of holiday vouchers and then you get a trip to Bali. I think that might, you know. I told the story some time ago about a pharmacy down in Victoria came on board. And he was doing very, very well until the 40-tonne gorilla opened up down the road. And he said, look, what are we going to do? We can't match them. I said, no, you can't. And I said, well, let me have a look at the demographics of the area. The demographics of his area were that there was a lot of Italian people because after World War II they came out and they're now in their 70s and 80s and they need high blood pressure tablets. And I said to him, well, you want to attract more Italians? He said, absolutely. And we want them to be in their 70s and 80s and they've got to have heart problems and basically in God's waiting room. And I said, good, okay. I said to him, what do you think Italians like? And let me put the question to you, what do you think Italians like, okay? Just in life in general, what do Italians like, aside from waving their hands? Good coffee, okay? And wine, of course, but coffee. So what we did is build a coffee shop in the front of his cafe. And we put the little, what do you call it, little canopies outside like you'd see in Paris or Italy. And we flew him up to the Versace. He had a look at the coffee shop in the Versace and got the feel for it because I said, if you're going to do this, you've got to do it properly. And let's face it, if he had a shop about this size, the front of the coffee shop was empty anyway. It had a few, like the odd bloody tube of toothpaste and bloody hair shampoo. It saved his business, basically saved his business. And how much do you think he charged for the coffee? Nothing. Zip, okay? Because what happened is that we sent out a membership card to the ABC Pharmacy Coffee Club, or what did we call it at the time. And it was a beautiful card that looked like an American Express gold card. It was glue-tipped to a beautiful leaflet. And it said, you are now a member of our coffee club, which means is that if you get your prescriptions from our pharmacy, whenever you come in, the coffee's on us, okay? And a piece of Madeira cake or scones and cream, whatever it might be. Now, he did have an attack of decaditis because I caught him in the launch week of this giving the coffee to these people in styrene cups. So he went for the Italian table and the beautiful chairs and everything else because I really policed him pretty well on that. And I looked sideways for 4 seconds and he fell back into moronitis. And he got little styrene cups and I happened to visit him and just went nuts, of course, as if it was my business. But I just said to him, mate, look, just wake up to yourself, please. And so then we got the Versace cups and saucers. So when Maria, the 78-year-old lady who has to get regular heart tablets, has the choice of going to Chemist Warehouse and being treated like a number, and basically sits there and reads magazines from 20 years ago, okay, waiting for her prescription, or she can come into this shop and get the latest Woman's Weekly, but have beautiful barista-style coffee. Now, you might say, but what about the staff? No staff. All he did was designate one of his little girls to be the barista, and she didn't have to do any barista course. The machine was one of those beautiful coffee machines where you press a button, not the ones at 7-Eleven or gas station, but the ones at Price Waterhouse when you go for a meeting, all right? So we're talking the Rolls-Royce machines that when you press it, it really is barista coffee, not like the piece of shit that I got here this morning, okay? This place should be, I don't know what your, anybody have a cup of coffee here this morning? Oh my God, I reckon my dog gets better, you know. I'm a coffee snob, and so therefore when Gail brought up the coffee, she said, I said, where'd this come from? Because it's in these shit Coles cups too, look at this. Yeah, look at this, like, can you believe this? I don't know what we're paying, 10 grand or something for this joint. I mean, you can't come back here. This is just a piece of shit. Look at that, look at that.
Half of them were dirty in the stack.
Were they really? Look
Goes
at,
with the couches outside.
oh,
Look at the couches.
it's disgusting, it's disgusting. I'll have you know, I had nothing to do with this. Gail organised this room. Yeah. It is...
You probably got it for half price.
yeah, well, there you go. She'll probably tell me that. Yeah, exactly. She'll tell me that. But no, look, all jokes aside, I mean, that's just wrong, isn't it? I mean, that's silly. If you're going to encourage people to come back for these sorts of things, you just have a nice cup and a nice saucer. And look, I'm a bit of a coffee snob, so therefore I will drive, and I bet you I'm not the only one, I'll drive the extra mile or 2 or 3 to get a nice coffee. I will. And Campos coffee's great, Victoria's great. If I'm near a Starbucks, not a chance. You won't find me anywhere near them. Darren Peat will be there, exactly. I don't know what he's smoking, but he full on. You know what Darren did the other night? Darren's in America at the moment, the guy that owns the candy shop. And he's a lovely guy. He's really a good promoter. But I think he's been drinking some Kool-Aid because he wants now to be the first person to visit every Starbucks coffee shop in the world. Yeah, he sent me, yeah. And Darren, if you're watching this, because he might be watching it from America, wake up to yourself, okay? Well, yeah, one of the girls here said most of them are closing down, so you only have to visit 12, you know. In Australia, there were a few that closed down, but I mean, it's still a worldwide chain. And by the way, one thing we don't accept here is sarcasm, so... but yeah, but good on him. Darren loves Starbucks coffee. I just don't. I think it's like dishwater. But anyway, so therefore the thing is that this pharmacy is all about now creating, or was all about then, creating a coffee shop at a beautiful day. You've got to do it properly. I'm going to get the white glove pizza thing up. You've got to do it properly, okay? You can't do this piece of shit here. I mean, this is just ridiculous that anyone would think that they could hold conferences in this. Anyone watching this on Facebook Live, by the way, the conference that we're having is at the, what's it called? The Mantra on View. I don't know what the view is because it's an empty car park across the road. You know, that reminds... Yeah. Yeah, I think the street is, to be fair, the street's called View Street, but because you wake up in the morning here and you look out, it's just an empty car park with a wire fence around the outside of it. It looks like a Gestapo camp, you know. But it reminds me, Parramatta Leagues, I've got to tell you this. I get there and we're having a meeting. Because of my sharp tongue and sarcasm, it takes a little while for people to like me. Actually, not many people even like me after a little while, but... so I'm looking at all their stuff and I'm just telling them like it is. Like there was a girl, I don't know whether she's watching, someone came to one of my things up in Brisbane. Where's Sandy? Sandy here? No. I think she might have been a friend. Gary, you here? Where's Gary? The lady that owns the printing shop.
Oh, yes, sir,
Yeah, she texted me last night. I don't know why she did, but she texted to say she couldn't make it. But she's not a member of any of our programs, and she got 3 hours worth of gold the day that we were up in Brisbane. And she came up and spoke to me for a while. I thought she was going to join up, so, you know, I had a chat with her, and then she... Sorry? Well, I know that. But anyway, so she sends me a text last night. I look at my phone. It says, "Oh, could you help my husband and myself? This is the photo of our current print shop, and this is the one that my husband has designed that we think we should go to." They were both shit. And so she said, "Could you tell me what you think?" And I said, "Well, you know how I'm an advocate of showing shit to gold, okay? Because that's what we do. We turn shit to gold. Yours is just shit to shit." So sorry, but, you know, and she came back and said, "Good, I won the bet," because obviously she didn't think her husband's design was good. And then she came back and said, what was it? Oh, here's another one. Well, God love them. What they had done, let me just do this here. I'm going to fall off. Yeah, this one here, it was a shop like that, and there's a door there, and they had put those gorgeous little A3 poster frame, you know, the little silver poster frames where you snap it and you put the A3 poster in and snap it back. There's gorgeous. And so they had them like that. And then they had signs in there being printers that said, you know, 500 business cards for $12.95 and, you know, so many A4 posters for this, that and the other. And and then it had up here a skyline, like a Brisbane skyline, okay, because that was the top of the shop. I don't know what that was all about. I've got no idea. And then the name of the shop here. And she said to me, she said, so what do you think I should do? And I said, I don't know, look for another business if you're going to have a print shop like that. And she said, oh, ha, but seriously. I said, look, you don't have to do anything if you just keep the shop front you've got and turn it into a St Vincent's de Paul shop, because that's pretty much what it looks like. And then she stopped texting after that. I don't know what happened, but anyway. Oh, no, that's right. And I said, ... just go kill yourself. I think I said something of that nature. But no, I didn't. I did not do the last part, all right? But I said to Gail I was going to, and then she had your reaction. You're not. No. So therefore, in Harry's instance, quick fix, I believe, for him, having to wear leather out on his shoes, is to hold evening tapas dinner events. And if he feels that surveying and tax depreciation is not a sexy enough subject to get people here, then he would think about getting a magnet, a chocolate chip cookie who might be a personality or a sports star. And in his instance, tell me if I'm close to it, but because you're probably going to be attracting more men than women, then an AFL star would probably be appropriate. Okay. Whereas if the chemist shop was launching its new cafe, then do you think Kerry-Ann Kenley would probably be a better choice? Yeah, probably yes. Okay. Okay.
Maybe have a high tea possibly too.
Yep.
High tea.
High tea, absolutely, yeah, for like the pharmacy. If you had a high tea, the crazy part about it, we had a number of leagues clubs and RSLs and all that sort of stuff come on board once. And there was one in Sydney. I looked after Panthers for 7 years. I looked after Parramatta Leagues for about 11 years, and a whole host of big clubs in Sydney. Now, these guys have got more money than God, okay? And the reason that they are quite happy to spend money is because the poker machines keeps them alive. So I'll never forget, I had a mate with an advertising agency in Sydney, and he said to me once, oh, JD, I just picked up 2UE radio station, and they spent $750,000 a year. And he thought I was dealing with all of the under the radar sort of people, which I guess I was. And he said, $750,000 a year. I went, okay. He said, bigger than Parramatta Leagues. I said, Parramatta Leagues' marketing budget is about $8 million. And his jaw just dropped. And he said, what? I said, mate, you got to understand, the poker machines keeps the football players on the field, and my job is to spin the poker machines, which I felt a little bit bad about at the time because Gail's father had lost 5 houses on the poker machine. So, of course, to marry someone that's promoting poker machines, I thought she would leave me, but she's still around. So that's my role. My role was to spin the poker machine. So do you think I had many promotions that would attract young people into that club? Not a chance. Who do you think I wanted into the Parramatta Leagues Club?
People with money.
Only Harry's relatives. They're the only people we wanted in that Leagues Club. We did not want an Australian anywhere near there. We only wanted Arabs and Asians because you go to Star City Casino, you'll see who's there, put their money through the machines. And so we basically put a sign on the door, if you're Australian, stay away. Do not come anywhere near us. Because I'll never forget, Dennis Fitzgerald, and this comes back to the park, the view outside, the mantra on view. Dennis Fitzgerald, who's become a good mate now, but he was the CEO of the club. He said to me, JD, we've got to fix the park cafe. And now the Park Cafe had been there for 1,000 years, and it looked like a Coles cafeteria. Anyone in my village can remember Coles cafeterias that your mum would have taken to you as a kid? Yeah. Pretty basic Laminex tables and, bloody plastic chairs, and you get your tray and you go along and you put your shit in that and you pay for it and then you eat it and you have basically gastric for a week. And so that's what this place looked like. And I said to him, I'll tell you how to fix a Park Cafe. First of all, why is it called the Park Cafe? There's no park that they look over. He goes, yeah, a car park. Everyone looks over the car park. So at some mindless committee meeting years previously, the board had got together for a brainstorm, I don't know why, and they came up with the name the Park Cafe because it overlooked a car park. Like this thing here, Mantra on View. Where's the freaking view?
It was the name of the street.
I know it's the name of the street, yeah, I know. I'm just taking a joke for the people on Facebook Live that don't know that. You just destroyed my whole credibility of being a joke. So anyway, I said to him, okay, I'll tell you how to fix a Park Cafe. He said, what's that? I said, bomb it, blow it up, okay? It is not for today. Do you realise that the Park Cafe falls into the horseshoe category? It shouldn't be here. Have a look around you and you tell me if you can see any white people, okay? This club is Arabs and Asians, and that's what you want in here. Have you ever thought, let me think, oh, how long would this take me? Maybe a microsecond. A Chinese freaking restaurant? You thought about that? Dickheads. The reaction why I set up this Business Whisperer thing is because I know when they're going to go broke. I can see when they're going to go broke. You knew at Sanctuary Cove when I was doing my video, the Spotty Cat Cafe is going to go broke. There was a cafe in Sanctuary Cove and it was like this, okay, and it had spots over it. That's right. And it had cats everywhere on the spots. And it was called the Spotty Cat Cafe. It was the first shop you come to in Sanctuary Cove. Who leased that shop? And I said to Gail, I'm going to do that right now. I put the camera up and let's JD Facebook Live. I'm the Business Whisperer. I'm going to predict that this shop will be gone within 6 months, this cafe. Who in their right mind would think coffee? What can we call it? Coffee heaven, indulgence, coffee. The Spotty Cat Cafe. That's got to be a winner. I was wrong. It didn't go broke within 6 months. It went broke within 2 months. Okay. How about the one down near Harbour Town, Gail? Dilma Tea or whatever it was? Dilma Tea. Oh my goodness! And I said that's got to be gone. Well, that was gone too. What's the latest one we predicted? I do videos in front of these shops just so I can replay them and show that I was smart. The one that's classic in Surfers Paradise at the moment is it's a little alleyway that goes along the side of the Hilton from the main sort of tram strip through to the nightclub strip, and upstairs is a cat cafe, a real cat cafe run by an Asian family, and you have your coffee with someone else's cats. So you go in there, there's cats all over you as you're drinking. This is fair income. And I want to go in. The TV show I want to produce is like a Gordon Ramsay one, but also with a Borat twist to it. So I would go in under the guise that I think this is a great business, just so I can get in there and take the piss out of them. Because this is incredible. I had to do like photos and photos like that because it was so embarrassing. I just said to the lady behind the counter, well, first of all, what went wrong, but I said, well, what's this all about? And she said, oh, well, people come with their cat, they have coffee with cat. Well, I can see that. How long have you been open? I don't know what she said, a few months. And we're talking like, you know how you've got the cat stands that have got carpet around them and the cats sit on the top? They're everywhere around the coffee shop and they're serving coffee and cake with cats. I would have thought it would be, but maybe not. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that we deal with in business that should be not legal for them to be in business.
Popular in Asia, John, Jenny.
They're popular in Asia. Cat cafes. You're kidding. Can we have a microphone here? I want to hear this from Harry. Yeah. Harry's wanted to open up a cat cafe. That'd be good. I'll do a Facebook Live from your cat cafe. So tell me.
Yeah, so in Asia,
Can we turn that on, guys?
in Asia it's quite,
Can we turn it on and ring up the Versace, please? Please. I'll pay anything.
Just charge us $100 each.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hello.
Okay.
So the cat cafe is quite popular in Asia.
Wow.
So in Thailand, Vietnam, and so forth, and have coffee or tea or whatever.
But do you take your own cats, do you?
No. Well, you can.
You can.
But there's lots of cats there.
But I want to get in there and interview them under the guise of being a TV show and all this sort of stuff, but it would be... So tell me more about the cat cafe. Are you thinking about branching out to parrots or maybe budgerigars or perhaps lizards? Maybe crocs, the croc cafe, you know, yeah.
Cows.
Yeah, Asians are weird, yeah.
Yeah, they are. They really, yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's funny, mate. The other day I did a Facebook Live and I took... It was an Asian restaurant. What was it, Gail? Somewhere here on the Gold Coast. And we went to get a wood-fire pizza takeaway, and 2 doors down was an Asian restaurant. And what was it? It was Come Day or something, you know. And I had to take the piss out of it, so I put the thing up and I said, here I am outside of Chinese restaurant. I just got to say to you, the name of your business, be very careful with it. And I always, when I'm asked for someone opening up a new business, what should they call it? And their names are Richards and their friends are Jones, so it's going to be Richard, Jones and Walker, whatever it might be, florist. I go, no. You know, if you're going to open up a business, just call it Toys R Us, because you know what the damn thing is. And then, you know, they'll say to me, but we're not a toy shop, metaphorically. It's not Toys R Us. And, you know, mine is the Institute of Wow. You know it has to be advertising or entertainment or something. It's not an accountancy service. And before this, the thing that we had was the Dynamic Ideas Company. The acronym Dynamic Ideas Company was a bit, maybe I should have thought that through, DIC, but the actual name itself, Dynamic Ideas, tells you that it must be an advertising firm. So I always say that if you're going to start from, I'm not saying if you've got a shit name now you should change it, but in fact we had a client last year, wasn't it, Gail? And in fact, Megan might be watching. Megan, if you're watching, remember the name of your business. It was a dating service and it was called Organic Fusions. Can anybody remember that? And Sarah came on board and she said to me, what do you think about my name? And I said, I hate it. And she said, well, I thought Sarah was quite nice. No, not that, the other name, Organic Fusions. Now, it was a dating service, people who were single, right? And they'd go out on picnics and they'd go into, movie nights and they'd go bushwalking and what have you, and that's fine. But Organic Fusions, I said, it sounds like an organic food restaurant. She said, everyone says that. Oh, surprised me, yeah. But where did that come from? Now, she had overthought the whole thing because when she was on some hallucinogenic drug, she had thought, well, they're meeting organically like this and they're fusing. Well, not always, but they're fusing, okay? And I said, oh, look, you're on drugs. And she said, well, what would you call it? And I said, oh, something weird like the Singles Club. Anyway, so now she's got, and Sarah, if you're watching, I think it's Mingles now, so at least that's close to Singles. One letter maybe off, but so the thing is, Billy, I know what you're going to do here. Yeah, can I give the microphone to Billy because she might blow some wind up my ass. I think you're going to talk about your name, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. John came up with a name.
Tell them what your business is first. Yeah.
Well, sorry. My name's Billy Wild. I'm married to Mr. Broadfoot here. That's why it's on there.
Billy, can I? Is it a happy marriage though? Is it?
You can tell, can't you? We're joined at the hip. My business is about teaching people how to present on stage, whatever forum you do. It doesn't matter if you're reporting to the board of directors, you can learn how to take the boardroom from being the boardroom and, instill some excitement, which is what we all want to do. So whatever your message is, to get it across. And we're going to run a competition course. One of my favourite things is to teach singers and actors. And this guy came up with a concept which I absolutely love, and it's also involving the $10,000 prize. And that is to run a competition for singers. And
online, by the way.
Online.
So you send in your little 2-minute video.
Yeah, and have a club, online club, which is about voice. And he came up with this name, and hallelujah, we actually got to buy it. We couldn't believe it, could we? The name of my business is The Voice Academy.
Well,
that's John.
Dougal's inspiration for that, because I said to Dougal, what are you going to call it? And he said, Dougal's singing class. And I said, yeah, it's got a bit of a ring to it. No, but look, I'll tell you, I was sitting there, we were working on Billy's marketing plan that she was to get within the 10 days of kicking off, and we always make sure we do that. And when I was sitting there, I'm thinking, okay, what is this? And she, by the way, for those of you who don't know, Billy opened up Sanctuary Cove with Frank Sinatra. So when Sanctuary Cove was opened 25 years ago, Billy was the support act singer with Frank Sinatra and Whitney Houston. So you're talking about someone here who's a star in her own right, but she'll never tell you that, okay? Whereas me, if I work with Seinfeld for 5 minutes, you'll hear it forever, okay? Anyway, so the thing, I've sung with Frank Sinatra as well. It might have been in the shower, but, so anyway, the thing is that when I see that she's going to teach people how to use their voice in both corporate meetings and also singing, I'm thinking, what would that be? And I thought, of course, when you talk about the TV shows, it's all about the Voice TV show and it's all about Australian Idol. And I thought, there's no way The Voice Academy or even voiceacademy.com.au would be available. And it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, I think I typed it in and I thought, it was available. But even last night when I'm putting the page together for this shopping centre $99 or, retailer $99 thing with the holidays, I was sketching it up last night to send to the Philippines, so he's working on it today whilst I'm here. And I'm thinking, okay, what would be a good name for that? So I just typed in sometimes, first time out, we all know that we can spend hours on net registry or crazy domains looking for what we think is the perfect name. I thought, What we're offering, $99 holiday, 7 nights in Bali. I think we're talking about a fun break. Funbreak.com, available. And fun breaks available. The fun breaks, so all of those. So for $10 a piece, you buy the whole damn lot of them. Who does sort of go down the rabbit hole sometimes on Net Registry or Treasury Domains looking for names? Yeah. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes I was on the phone with a mate of mine, Greg Casser, who I do a few things with. He's an online expert, and we're on the phone one day, and I'm in the car, and he was at his office, and anyway, I gave him an idea, and he goes, the word F, he goes, that's the best promotion in the world. And before either of us said another word, I'm on my phone driving, he's on his computer. Guess what? Bestpromotionintheworld.com was available. Just crazy, some things that are available that you wouldn't think is available, yeah. Greg, I'll get the microphone to you, man.
Just to add to that, JD, exactly, you never know what's available. We're setting up a platform because of Sharon's business and to invite everyone else, Natural Healers. So it's a Natural Healers promotional platform. And yeah, I went online to see what names we could come up with because it's open to every natural healer. Yep. And naturalhealersrus.com.
You're kidding.
It's available. So we're Natural Healers R Us, like you said.
Wow.
We expected to be available.
Yeah. Given you're in the natural healing business, just be careful you don't misspell that. Natural healing us. Yeah. Because they think the whole natural side of that might be a bit too close. Yeah. Okay, so what we might do here is going to, what we got up? Yeah, the pizza box. Before I do this, before you bring it up, I'll do the drum roll. And some of you heard this, but when you hear the story for the first time or even for the second time, you'll know why I've decided to make things more packaged and why we now have in our private coaching program, Facebook and Instagram and AdWords comes with it. We don't let you anywhere near it, okay? Now, if you've got your sister-in-law doing it, we're fine. We'll put up with that and we'll give you a price break. But, we just put that all in there now because we know that it probably won't be done otherwise. And we get normally pretty reasonable results by split testing pretty quickly. Anyway, so what happened here was that it's a restaurant in Brisbane, 2 restaurants, one in Fortitude Valley, which is the funky King's Crossy sort of nightclub area, and then there's one in Carindale Westfield Shopping Centre, and they are called Burrows of New York Woodfire Pizza. Now, for all of us who are not vegetarians who eat pizzas, I'd say that more than likely most of us would probably prefer a wood-fire pizza. I'm taking a guess at that, but you prefer a wood-fire pizza rather than just the normal, sort of Domino's stuff. So they were ahead of the game there, but they said to me, look, we want to move away from just doing the restaurants. We want to get into the home delivery. But it's a $450 million industry in Queensland or New South Wales, and we want to get into it. I said, okay. And they said, so therefore what we want to do is do what Pizza Hut have done. We set up shop fronts where basically people just come in and buy the pizza and walk away with it, just like Domino's do these days, or home delivery. Okay, righto. So what's so special about your pizzas? Well, of course, wood-fire. Okay. They said, but we're going to be up against Domino's who home deliver a pizza for $5 or $6. So talk about going up against a 40-ton gorilla. I said, okay. And they said, so how are we going to beat that? I said, well, first of all, you've got wood-fire pizzas, so therefore you're ahead of the game there. You can justify charging more for wood-fire pizzas. And they went, yeah, okay. And let's present you as the best wood-fire pizza home delivery service in the world because you will be the only pizza service in the world that will deliver your pizzas with a black tie and white gloves, and your pizzas will be on a silver tray, and the pizza box won't look like a bag of shit like it always does. It'll look like it's been designed by the Versace Hotel, and it will look like this. Okay, that's the box. If we had some lights out, it would be much better if we could. And we'll let the lights go out, and you'll see how this delivery guy is going to deliver your pizza for you in the future. He's at your front door. Do you reckon you're going to get your pizzas from that mob second time around and third time around? Who thinks the selfies when he comes and rings your doorbell will go viral pretty quickly? Okay? That is a game changer. That will make him millions and millions and millions of dollars. I gave it to him in November. What do you think's happened so far? Nothing. Nothing. Not one single fucking thing, okay? And, was it in the Hogan's Heroes? Nothing. I know nothing. No, that was Manuel, was it? I know nothing. Can you imagine? I just want to drive to Bunnings and buy some rope. That to give someone like that, I've played that up on the screen at a few seminars since, and everyone just comes up to me and goes, why don't you do it yourself? And I'm damn close to doing it myself because, It is crazy. Now, wait for it. This will show you how frustrating it is when you give this sort of advice and you're feeding strawberries to pigs, because he came to one of these things. His wife signed up, and she went home with smoke coming out of a credit card because she signed up to my private coaching program. He sees his wife come home with, the smoke coming out of the credit card and says, "You did what? I told you to keep your hands in your pocket." And she said to him, "Oh no, this guy looks like he's the real deal." And he goes, "Okay." So on the first phone call, this is what he got. On the first phone call, I'm on a Skype call, so we see each other. You can see he hates me because we've just zapped his credit card for the first month's payment. And he says, and I said, "Mate, look, I know what would have happened. Your wife's come home. You're now probably going through a marriage crisis because she's zapped your credit card, and you're probably now hooked into some wanker's program." And he goes, "Yep, you got it." And I said, "Okay, well, wanker I might be, but you're going to get value out of this one, okay?" And I had to give him a Voice Academy idea, because first time out, if the spouse is not at my thing, they just going to think I'm a typical wanker speaker like they're out in the circuit, the bloody seminars. And I said to him, "Well, first of all, I come from the corporate background. I'm not a seminar speaker. I just do this because it's sell once to many. I'm not a seminar speaker. You won't see any run to the back of the room shit. Your wife just happened to dawdle down the back and she gave us money. I can't help it." And I said, "Look, I'll give you a game changer idea to prove that your wife is the smartest girl in town, okay? And you should not doubt her in the future. She's a keeper." And I gave this to him. Well, it was on a Skype call. His jaw just dropped. He just went, "Oh my God." I said, "Can you imagine? That guy at the moment is delivering your pizzas. He's never shaved for a month. He's never heard of aftershave. He's got his cap turned backwards. He's smoking by the time he walks up the driveway. And his hands are filthy and he's handing over an ugly box. Now imagine if that comes and rings your doorbell, then everyone will be just ordering pizzas just to take a damn selfie. And it'll be all across the internet within 5 minutes. You will make millions and millions of dollars." This is what we call a disruptor. Now, I know that since Uber came along, everyone wants to be a disruptor because, Airbnb, they're disruptors. Why can't we be? And most people cannot be a disruptor because most people are dickheads. They're not going to come up with this shit, okay? This is a disruptor. And you know what? Barrier to entry is about $300. White gloves, a black tie suit, and guys who don't look like mass murderers, okay? Because most of the pizza delivery guys look like they would kill your whole family. Anyway, guess what? His jaw drops. "Oh, fantastic, JD, you are a god," blah, blah, blah. I hang up and I said to Gail, "You're married to a god?" And then we have our next call a fortnight later. Guess what happens at that call? You see, what will happen is that you people, not you, but people like you, will do anything to try and fuck it up. And that's what he did. He said, "Oh, JD, we've been thinking." Oh, no. As soon as I say that, I go, "Oh, please." And he said, "We've been thinking. It's pretty hot in Brisbane during the summertime." I knew what was coming, and so do you. It's pretty hot in the summertime in Brisbane. And so we've been on to eBay and we've found these onesies, like a pajama thing with short sleeves, but with shorts. But it's a dinner suit printed on the T-shirt onesie with the shorts. And that means that our drivers won't get hot. And I said, "You know what? I think we should give your money back to you." "And I think your wife should divorce you because you're a dickhead, I said, "Mate, look, forget it. Don't even worry about it because you are a moron, And he said to me, "Oh, my wife said that you'd probably be, sort of against that." I said, "Of course I'm against it. You cannot be half pregnant." Can you imagine Disney, okay, where when you get a job in a Disney park, you're a cast member. You're going to learn this tomorrow morning when the Disney guy's on at 9 o'clock. You are a cast member. And the reason you're a cast member is you're playing a role in their play. So if you're in Adventureland, you're dressed like you're Frontier, you're Adventureland. If you're in Tomorrowland, you're dressed in space outfits. If you're in the Main Street, you're in the whole Disney out. They actually have a thing called Showtime, which John Formica, the Disney guy, is going to go through with you tomorrow morning. So if you are here for today and you think you can't make it tomorrow, you're nuts. You're going to miss out on a game-changing thing tomorrow morning that could change your business forever. And if you don't believe me, talk to Darren Peed, the candy guy, right? It's made him millions, okay? And anyway, and myself and John Formica as a tag team, I think it's pretty valuable. This guy is not doing that, okay? Guess what happened just last month? Gary, where are you? Gary, is he around? No, Gary, it's Sandy. Which one closed down? Which one of their restaurants? Carindale, wasn't it? Yeah. Carindale closed. So one of his 2 restaurants closed. I gave this idea to him in November last year. And you wonder why I'm packaging these things now and wonder why the only private coaching programs we sell now have got Facebook, Instagram, AdWords, all of that stuff included. Management-wise, I mean, we can't put the budget in because it's up to the business to decide whether they want to spend $50 or $150. And of course, the crazy thing is, and some people say, "Oh, we're doing Facebook or FacePage, it doesn't work." Oh, okay. What are you spending? Oh, $10 a day. just go and get a job. You know, you can't get on Facebook for $10 a day and expect that's going to work for you, for God's sake. I mean, I spend more than that on coffee, and I'm sure you do too. You can't put your business in the hands of Facebook for $10 freaking dollars a day. And if you say to me, well, how much should we spend? Probably 50, 60, 70, at least that, a day, and just run it for 2 weeks and see whether it's working. If it's not working, what do you think you do? Change the ad, okay? Or let's get really creative and go out with 2 or 3 different ads and split test them for a week, which means you spend, 50 times 3. I'd spend $150 a day. Yes, you do that for a week. Because the great thing about Facebook, there's a lot of bad things, but there's a great thing about Facebook, you're going to know whether that ad works within 5 days. So it's not like, your magazine ad where you put it in, you've got to sit there with Women's Weekly out there on the bloody doctor's shelves for like a month to work out whether it's working. You'll know within days whether your Facebook ad's working. And so you should be putting out more than one ad. Okay, so Facebook Live. I think I mentioned to you that we certainly have found it to be pretty valuable. And I thought I'd give you an example of Darren Peed's Facebook Live. And this was about 3 weeks ago. Darren did the Willy Wonka Disneyland trip, and this was the culmination of that. He didn't do the You Must Be at the Draw, which was an oversight on his part, and he admits that. So at the last moment, I said to him, well, at least give them a bonus. So if they come to the draw and they're in the crowd and they get drawn out to win the Disneyland prize, then they get $500 or $1,000 to go with it. Now, $1,000 in Disneyland will probably buy your coffee, all right? So he did that, and he had about 400 or 500 people turn up. And that's how it works. So you buy a Wonka bar, and if you find that golden ticket inside, then you're in the Disneyland trip. And this is what happened on the night. JD here from one of my clients' business in Windsor, New South Wales. We're giving away a trip to Disneyland tonight, and I just wanted to show you exactly what happens when you run a promotional property. The client of mine happens to be a retail store. He sells candy, and this is what's happening tonight in his store. It has gone nuts because this is a Thursday night about 8 o'clock. Disneyland prize tonight, and there would be maybe 400 or 500 people milling outside the store, and maybe a couple of hundred inside the store. Let me just take you through. It's just nuts. Absolutely crazy, okay? And you've got... Hello, Lucille, how are you? How's things? Good. Look at this. Look at this. How would you like your business to have this sort of crowd on a Thursday night? When every other shop in Windsor is absolutely empty, look what's happening here. For every Willy Wonka bar they buy tonight, they're getting a ticket for a trip to Disneyland. I want to interview Willy Wonka. Hey, Willy Wonka, can I ask you, what's the deal here, mate? What happens tonight?
What happens?
Yep.
Well,
for every Wonka bar?
every Wonka bar, you're automatically getting an entry form.
Okay.
So you got to come in and you got to get an entry form because you can go to Paris, Tokyo, Florida, Hong Kong.
So on the last night they made an entry form in every bar.
Any Disney park.
Okay, so buy a Wonka bar tonight and you've got a chance to win a trip to Disneyland
Buy 10,
anyway.
you get 10 entry forms. So come in and get one.
And what's happening? Has it gone nuts? Gone nuts?
It's gone nuts. It's going crazy. So make sure you come in and get one.
Oh, did you just buy a Wonka bar? You did. Good stuff. Are you buying a Wonka bar, girls, to get the Disneyland trip? Good, okay. We'll get the chance to win the Disneyland trip. Look at this. When you run a promotion properly, look what happens. Look what happens. Girls, are you selling lots of Wonka bars tonight?
Always.
Good. Look at this. It's pandemonium. I'm not talking crazy stuff. This is just nuts. Let me introduce you to the owner of the store. Oh, he's a bit busy. I'll let him do his thing. He's a bit busy. Look at this outside the store. This is outside the store, and this is in a relatively sleepy mall in Windsor. It's a winter night, and look at this. Look at this. It goes on and on and on. There are people everywhere. There'll probably be 400 or 500 people here, and the draw is going to take place at 8 o'clock. I'll come back on and do a Facebook Live at 8 o'clock. This is the shop. It's lollies and such. Sorry for the lights there. It makes it a little bit difficult to see. But it is nuts. And here's the entries so far.
Yes.
My goodness, how many entries will be in there?
I have no idea.
Lots and lots, mate. Goodness me, look at that. Look at all of those entries. Don't tell me that good marketing doesn't pay dividends. Goodness me. Let me just run one more through here and you'll see that this has gone absolutely nuts. I think you'll find that Darren is taking a month's worth of takings tonight. And if you take into consideration the cost of the family trip to Disneyland, because that's what he's invested in this, it's certainly going to bring back, I think, a pretty good return. A pretty good return. I'll see if I can grab Darren. It'd be good to grab him and just... Hey, Dazza, can I ask you... Dazza, can I ask you a question, mate? Is this beyond all expectations?
Oh, it's amazing, John. There's hundreds of people here and everyone's absolutely pumped.
I'm guessing 400 or 500 people have rolled up. You probably have 150 in the shop at the moment.
They're all trying to buy a Wonka bar.
Well done, mate. Well done. There's a pretty happy business owner, okay? And Darren asked me for an idea for a promotion a little while ago. I suggested this one, and he's pretty happy that he's actually put it together. And look, he's an ideal client. My business is theinstituteofwow.com, and we do this for businesses right around Australia. And if you want this sort of reaction in your business, doesn't matter what happened then, we did the draw outside, and this is what it looked like.
About to pull out the winner, and Darren will do that for me. You'll see here we've got a lot of entries in this barrel. And thank you very much for everybody coming here tonight for the chance to win the trip to Disneyland. Who would like to win the trip to Disneyland? I thought you might. Okay, it's a pretty good place to go. I've been there quite a few times and it's good fun. Now, Darren, before we drew the draw and we choose someone to win the trip, you've got a very, very special announcement about this $99 hamper over here that's got $450 worth of candy in it. What's the secret?
Okay, well, we've sold half of our hampers. We want to sell the remaining ones tonight. So if anyone buys a hamper after tonight, we're going to give you 100 entry forms in the new Wonka promotion.
Sorry, that's not good enough, okay? So you're getting $450 worth of international candy for just $99. It's a gigantic hamper. If you eat it all, you'll be the size of Africa, but nonetheless, don't worry about that, all right? The thing is that you're going to get 100 entries into the next Disney contest, and the next one, Darren has amped up. He's taken it to another level, so it's not just a trip to Anaheim Disneyland. You can choose any Disney park around the world, and that's operational from now, okay? So if you want to buy the $99 hamper with $450 worth of product, you will get, I said 99, but you've upped it. They're going to get, for $99, you're going to get 100 entries, but it has to be tonight. Yep. Okay, Darren, thank you very much for that lone person who yelled that out. Thank you. Before we actually dip our hand in the barrel and pull someone out, remember, if you claim it tonight, you get another $500 to take to Disneyland with you. Okay, so and that extra $500 to spend at Disneyland will probably get you a lollipop.
Nuts and so forth. The lady who won it didn't actually attend there. We got her on the phone, and she just went absolutely nuts. We put on loudspeaker so everyone heard it. And then after that, because we said a $450 hamper, which was all dead stock, by the way, that we were giving away for $99. How that came about is that Darren rings me up and I said, look, I'll come down and do it for you. And he was pretty happy about that. He said, look, is there anything else we should do? I said, mate, you're going to have 400 or 500 people there. Have some special offer. He goes, what would that be? I said, I don't know. I don't own a candy shop. You own a candy shop, for God's sake. So I just pulled it out of my ass and said, well, why don't you, can you do something that's a few $100s, you can do it for $99? And then what you'll do is give them 99 more entries in the new Disney contest, which means they can go anywhere. Darren screwed it up. $99 and 99 entries makes sense, but Darren went $99 and he went 100 entries. Doesn't make sense, but anyway, what do you do? So what happened is that it was a big basket. All these things are in there, which was basically dead stock he was getting rid of. He ended up moving a bucket of those that night, absolutely, because after the draw, because you knew that if you spent who spends $99 on a candy, for God's sake? Goodness me. And yeah, goodness me. And so at the end of this, I unfortunately didn't video, but all the crowd from outside went straight back into the shop, so he got a second wave. And this is at the very end of it. I just did now, for those of you who haven't seen the transformation of what the shop used to look like, okay, it used to look like Sporty's Warehouse. It used to look like a really pretty lame shop front until we got to it. Have a look. It's JD here, what is it, 8:15 or something like that. We've just had a huge draw of the Disneyland prize at one of my clients' business, which you can see behind me is lollies and stuff. I'll turn it so you can see it. It's a pretty spectacular candy shop here in Sydney. They've been a client of mine now for a couple of years and have enjoyed a reasonably dramatic increase in sales as a result of doing wow factor marketing. And Darren Peed and his wife Lucille are just great marketers, and they've done a great job here tonight. They had 500 people here for their Disneyland draw, and the way that you get into the Disneyland draw was that you bought a Wonka bar. And now, at the end of tonight's draw, we launched a new promotion, and that was to win a family pass to a Disney park anywhere in the world. You know, Florida, Hong Kong, China, Japan, anywhere. And what we did is we had a gigantic hamper. And I want to show you a gigantic hamper, and I'm going to show you how clever marketing works. Now, can I just ask you, this hamper here, okay, you've got a chance to win a trip to any Disneyland in the world. This hamper here is normally $450 worth.
Yes, that's correct.
And tonight it was?
$99.
Just $99,
Yes.
okay, for this hamper. And what we promoted towards the end of the draw tonight was that if you actually bought the hamper that's got $450 worth of candy in there for $99, you got 99 bonus entries into the Disney contest. And let me show you what happened. Okay, we're giving away 99 pieces of paper, and look what happened. People, this is after the draw. $99 box of candy. And this is just at the end of it, by the way. They've been lined up now for half an hour. For 15 minutes, 20 minutes, buying this huge box of candy, okay, $99. And the reason is because they get 99 bonus entries into the next Disneyland contest. And the reason I am bringing that up is because it's marketing magic. And I'm showing off on Darren's behalf and perhaps mine, Darren being the owner of the business, but we're giving away 99 pieces of paper, okay? Because when Darren said to me, look, this $450 hamper, well, first of all, he said, what would we do on the night? And I said, look, have a big hamper. I'm sorry you got the lights there, I'll try and get away from that. I said, look, why don't you give away a hamper that's worth hundreds of dollars for, a good price? And that's what he's done. He's come up with a spectacular deal. But to really make this thing sing tonight, we said for everyone who buys the $99, this is $99, $100 box of chocolates, we will give you 99 bonus entries into the Disney contest. Guess what? A queue of people spending $99 on candy, on confectionery. When was the last time you walked into a shop and spent $99 on confectionery? It just doesn't happen, does it? I'm sorry, I'm trying to give you a headache with all those lights as best I can. I've got a headache, so you should have one too. Marketing magic, okay? Because at the end of the day, what does it cost Darren to give away 99 new entries into the contest? Doesn't cost him anything. They're 99 pieces of paper. That's why I can never believe when people go and sell, raffle tickets down at the local soccer game or Skill Fate, they say, oh, look, it's $2 each, or it's 6 for $10. I go, no, $2 each, or 50 for $10. You're giving away a piece of paper, and they'll buy 50. You'll sell more $10 than you ever will sell $2. I'm trying to give you a headache, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get away from these dash lights. I told Darren, if you're going to have a big draw outside the shop tonight, light it up. Well, hey, he listened to me, that's for sure. I want to just interview Darren. Oh, here's Darren. Darren, come here. Can I ask you, Darren? Mate, this has been spectacular. And I have to say to you, I've just done a Facebook Live, and I have to say to you, what you just did then was brilliant. You gave a $99 box of $450 worth of candy, and what did you do? You gave a bonus of?
100 entry forms in our promotion. 100 bits of paper. These ones here.
It's marketing magic. And tell me this, the response to that when we had 400 or 500 people standing here for the draw of the Disney contest, and when you said, look, if you want to get hundreds of dollars worth of candy for $99, we'll give you, an extra 99 entry forms into the Disney contest, what happened?
People just lined up, waiting to hand their money over. They couldn't hand it over fast enough. Plus, we had half a dozen people ring from our Facebook Live and ordered them over the phone, and they've paid for them. They're coming to pick them up. They couldn't get here tonight, but they've rang the store and paid for them already.
You're kidding. Can you just tell me, in terms of the Disney Association, you wouldn't get a better prize than for a family, sort of to attract the family to your business, which of course is lollies and candy. Disney's it, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like Disneyland, everyone, no matter what age, kids up to adults, like we had quite a few senior people here tonight, all wanting to win that trip to Disneyland. So Disneyland and Disney appeals to everyone from kids to 80-year-olds. I know there was an 80-year-old bloke here tonight, hoping his name was going to get drawn out of the barrel. And I believe that he won second prize, which was a trip to Trampoline World. I want to see that. Yeah. Absolutely. No, it was amazing. So, Oh, well, thank you. And in terms of the response so far to the new one, which is to any Disney park in the world, it's just launched with a bang. What we've found so far, we've only launched the new promotion for 5 days, and it's twice as exciting for customers as what the first promotion was. So we've wow factored it, we've plus one'd it, and the customers are just loving it. We can't get enough. I want to say this. When Darren has been part of my stuff, and he's also being part of the John Formica training program, and John's an ex-Disney executive from Florida, and what I call is wow factor marketing, he calls plus one. What's a plus one? What is a plus one? Plus one is just taking something that you already do and making it even bigger and better, and wow, just making it wow. So improving it, making it one step better than what it currently is. So our current promotion was a trip to Disneyland in LA. Our new promotion is a trip to Disneyland anywhere in the world. So that's how we've +1 that.
Wow. Anyway, even the Disneyland in Tasmania?
Disneyland in Tasmania.
Good, okay.
It's high up on the agenda of a lot of people.
Now, it's starting to sprinkle, so I won't keep you out here much longer, but I want to ask you this, and no need to give numbers, but has this Willy Wonka promotion whereby they bought a chocolate bar, Willy Wonka chocolate bar, in every 5th or 6th or 10th, whatever it might be, there was a Willy Wonka golden ticket, so that's how it worked. Your chocolate bars went up quite considerably, didn't they?
We sold tens of thousands, and people come from all over Australia to buy these chocolate bars from our store, hoping to find that golden ticket.
Now, the interesting thing is McDonald's put a Happy Meal toy inside their Happy Meal to sell more Happy Meals. This is sort of your version of it, but the fact is the Willy Wonka bar gets them into the store, and by the way, there's the store, okay, so that gets them into the store, but when they come in is the real thing, because they buy more.
Yeah, absolutely, it blows them away.
Mate, thank you very much. All the best.
Okay, so what you see there is that he uses the Happy Meal, probably one of the best marketers in the country, to make a lot of money. Now, Darren won't mind me saying this, if he's watching on Facebook Live from America, this stuff is, we're talking millions of dollars. We're not talking like, oh yeah, we made an extra 10 grand out of that. We're talking big dollars, all right? So his Willy Wonka sales for the same period the year before were 4,100. This year was 44,000. And forget the $5 Willy Wonka thing. I mean, that's a couple $100 grand in chocolate. It's what the Wonka thing does, like the Happy Meal toy does for McDonald's. It brings them in, and then Darren didn't have, you saw how big his chocolate shop is, if we can do the before and after photo, how big his chocolate shop is, he didn't have shopping baskets. Do you reckon that would have stopped people from buying, when you've got chocolates like that and you put it, do you reckon a shopping basket would have made a significant difference to his business? Just a simple idea like that. We're talking wheels on luggage ideas. I mean, you think to yourself, I often say, we put man on the moon in '69, but we only put wheels on luggage in 1989. It took us 20 years to work out to put wheels on our airport luggage. What the hell were we smoking? So in this instance, having a plastic little carry tray has made a significant difference, because people picked it up like they do at Woolworths. A little bit sport, what I was after the before and the after, but anyway, so if we can go to the before, if you don't mind, it might be the slide before that. Oh, do you want me to do it? I don't know. Do you want me to use it? Okay. So that's what the shop used to look like. A few of you have seen it before, but the inside of the shop looked like Disney, the outside of it looked like a morgue. And so therefore, what we did, and it was done within, a few weeks, that's what it looked like. And I think we've got the fast motion video, have we? Okay. We're talking dramatic changes. We're talking crazy. Oh, this is the one in the entrance. That's the one that you saw was in Sydney. This one is at Gosford. And you can see that when it's lit up like a Christmas tree like that, it has a good chance of drawing people in. That's obviously all fast-tracked. Okay, no, that's fine, that's fine. Oh, well, yeah, okay, let it go. I mean, have you seen any retail store, by the way? Any retail store that looks like that at the moment? You don't see that. I know I'm going on about it, I'm showing off, but you don't see that in a retail store anywhere in the world, And it's not just because we've fixed the front of his shop, it's also, which is absolutely vital if you're in the retail game. If you're in the retail business and you had a shop front like he had, then you're in trouble.
Did you also use any Facebook Live marketing prior to the event?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Look, he's just a dream client. I'm going to make him millions. He will make millions and millions of dollars out of me, okay? And he's all right, because he sticks around. The people who do shit and make lots of money, they hang around for 2 or 3 or 4 years. Tam, the Steam Master guy, he's coming up to his 4th year with me, I think, because he's making millions. This guy's making millions. He's just signed up. Gail, so his 3rd year, was it? Yeah. He was good enough. I'm not going to play it to you because it's boring to you, but he was good enough to give me that testimonial that came up a moment ago, because they just do shit. And none of this is expensive. You know what the makeover of his building cost? $7 grand. To go from shit to gold, that was $7,000 for that makeover of the front of his shop. He paid back the $7,000 within 2 hours of the next morning, okay? So they built it overnight. They started at, I think, 9 o'clock and it was finished at 4 a.m. I don't know where that video is, but so therefore it was all done in the one night. And then the next morning he said he'd gone up, like his margin is about half, so he'd gone up 15 grand in the first 2 hours just because of the shop front. So he paid the shop front $7 grand back within the first 2 hours of it opening.
And keep in mind that what they did there is that they concentrated on a Happy Meal toy, okay? That's what the Wonka bar is. You've got to ask yourself, do you have that for your business? Do you have a hero product in your business that you can concentrate on? I know that if I was in the pharmacy game, seriously, I'd be putting that coffee shop in like in a heartbeat. That would be my hero product. I'm the only one or one of two or one of three, whatever, in Australia that's got a coffee shop at the front of my cafe. And I give out free coffee to people who are coming in and getting their prescriptions for them. You've got to work out what your unique selling point is. Okay, so that was Facebook Live. Now, what we do, Ian, for him, is that because he's so easy, what we do is screw with people's heads on Facebook. So instead of just saying, well, get your lollies from us, what we'll do on the Facebook ad here is that we'll have the M&M character there, okay? So the beauty of when you've got licensed candy, so he's got Superman and he's got Iron Man and he's got all the Disney characters, he can borrow the equity of all of those for free, okay? So, and look, I'm only saying sporties because I know you're sitting there. You can borrow the equity of Alan Border, all the football players, for free. You don't have to pay a license because the people who have manufactured those products have already paid the license, but you can actually milk the crap out of it. So, for example, a couple who were asked me, look, we've got organic nappies, and what we are up against is Huggies, and we're more expensive because we're organic. And they said, so therefore this whole take the eye off the price thing is really difficult for us. I said, no, it's not. No, tell you what, and I had this conversation in the break when someone was saying to me that their business is very price sensitive and the customers are just price sensitive. You won't get much more price sensitive than a home loan. We're not talking $10 versus 7, we're talking 5.3 versus 5.2. That's how sensitive that game is. And for 11 years we ran a promotion, get a home loan, get a holiday, and we never once advertised an interest rate. So don't tell me that your industry is price sensitive. You won't get anything that's close to price sensitive of 1/10 of a point. And we never advertised an interest rate for 11 years until I left. And then they went back to the stupid things they used to do. And now they're up against the Commonwealth Bank at 2.8 or 2.7, whatever it is. So, I don't care whether it's price sensitive. This guy here, luckily for him, he doesn't have any price issues. There's no store that looks like that anywhere in the world, okay? The one that I've come closest to that was in Vegas I visited, but nothing else looks close to him. So what we do is, because he's interested in people who are interested in candy, we just play games on YouTube, on Facebook, and we have Count the M&Ms, okay? There's 4 million M&Ms here, okay? Now, why do you think I say count the M&Ms or count the Smarties or Jelly Beans or whatever it might be? Why do you think I do that? By the way, they count them and they click here. The copy on the above here says you will win a year's worth of M&Ms. But what you need to do is count the M&Ms, click here and put your entry in. And do you think that that identifies people who love candy? Because I'm not a chocolate person. So therefore I would never get involved in that. I'm not fun to be around. But if you're going to enter to win a year's worth of candy, does that tell you that you might be interested in candy? So do you think that's a valuable database that he's collecting? And what else it does, by the way, when you're sitting there and you've got your phone open, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, JD. Yeah. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. It keeps you on that ad longer. And what do you think Facebook's algorithm says? Happy days. We're going to actually spread you further afield because you've just stayed on longer. You're Bert Newton. You're stopping people from watching TV. They're staying on your ad, so we're going to reward you because that's what they do. They don't want anyone to watch TV. So we play with his ads in that sort of way so that we get people to hang around the ad longer, okay? Yeah, okay, right. I'll show you how fast this guy's shop was built. And he's just paying the normal, a few grand a month stuff that, you guys are on. For the amount of work I give him, so I put in for him, he knows he should be paying 15 grand a month. He should easily be paying that, right? And why do you think I don't put his price up? Anybody want to take a stab at that? Why do you think because he gets his money's worth, I'm telling you, all right? But why do you think I don't put his price up? Anybody want to take a stab at it? well, A, he does something, so it's enjoyable to deal with people who don't sit on their hands, but B, do you reckon he's a terrific calling card for me? Do you reckon that it's nice of him to let me do Facebook Lives from his drawer? Because I've jumped in a plane, I never charged him any extra for it. I had to stay a night over in Sydney, so it was probably $1,000 for me to go down. I never charged him a cent. And I emceed his whole thing. I gave him the idea for the 99 entries, if you buy the 99 boxes, that and the other. But I said to him, would you mind if I do a couple of Facebook Lives from here and show off? He said, knock yourself out. What do I care? Pretty good story. And I said, oh, okay, and if I bump into you, would you do an interview? Of course he would. So it's a scratch mine, scratch yours. I mean, this is gold for me to demonstrate the wizardry that, you know, what we bring to the table when someone gets off their ass. But he knows he's getting an exceptionally good deal because he's got contact with me whenever he wants, and he just does shit. So you can see the old, and these transformations that you're looking at, they're not just little 10%ers or 20%ers, these are massive transformations, and you can do it for your business. You can absolutely do it if you just get off your hands, you know. Before lunch, what I wanted to do, though, talking about Facebook Live, is go through what Ian just asked, and that is, you know, what the tips are with this Facebook Live. With the Facebook Live, if you're talking to a millennial, they'll say to you that social media is what it says it is, and it is social. And, you know, that's fine. However, most of the millennials are yet to have a mortgage, and they don't have any children, so they don't know what it's like when you tell your children at night time you've got no money, but you've got 100 likes. And I know there's no food on the table, but we got a whole bunch of likes and shares. So my view is that whilst I will take somewhat as gospel the fact that social media is a longer game than the brochure drop in the letterbox or the door hanger or maybe the TV ad that's got Kerry Ann, you know, selling the dietary program. Sorry? Oh, okay, yeah. Yep, you can turn that on. But the fact is that you still can turn this social media stuff into direct response marketing if you do it properly. And my view is that you should never ever do a Facebook Live unless you've got three components. Number one, absolute good content, okay? Don't take pictures of you walking on the beach and you've just come from the gym and your T-shirt's 2 sizes too small and you want to tell everyone how to live their life. I mean, we get a million of those, we've all seen them. And don't show them what you had for breakfast, and we don't really give a crap about your holidays, all right? That's fine if you just want to, you know, get off on, you know, people saying, oh, don't you look, you look so much younger since you've been going to the gym. That's fine, do all that. But if you want to do it for commercial purposes, which is all I'm interested in, I'm not doing it for any other reason than to make money. And in the first 12 weeks that we did it, we took $304,000 in sales because they're all linked back to my Facebook Lives. We've got links above. Hardly anyone does this, by the way. But in the blurb that I put on top of my Facebook Live, when it gets repurposed to LinkedIn, it might be to the side, but wherever it is, I will say, if you enjoy what I've got to say here and you'd like more of this sort of stuff, then just click the link above. And by clicking that link above, we've been able to track specifically through Facebook Live 12 weeks worth of income, $304,000, and it cost me not 1 cent. Well, I tell a lie. Maybe it cost me $50 here and $50 there if I actually boosted some of the more successful Facebook Lives, but we're talking chump change, right? And the reason why is because I've been following a guy in the States who has this formula, and I just basically mirrored it. I wish I could say I made it up myself. I didn't. I added my sarcasm and a bit of wit and humour because he's not really of that ilk, but I just modelled the system. And the system is 3 points. Number one, good content, like dough. Number two, engagement, and that is, of course, you know, you're asking them questions about what they think about it, you're getting them to comment, or you're just interesting, because engagement from the algorithm point of view is how long they watch you as well. So everyone thinks engagement is just comments and likes and shares, and of course it is, you know, but engagement that the algorithm recognises also is how long you keep them on your video. So therefore, if you keep people on your 5-minute video for 2 or 3 minutes, then they absolutely love you at Facebook, because they don't want you to watch TV. They don't want you to buy a newspaper. They don't want you to listen to radio. So the longer that a Bert Newton pops out and keeps them on his video, then they think you're a star. And they will reward you with free exposure by pumping out your Facebook Live further afield at no cost to you. So we'll find that if we have a good Facebook Live that gets 200 or 300 views within a day or two, that might go to 1,000, 1,500, like that one there with the Darren Pede outside the shop. I think we threw $50 behind it, did we go? $50 in Sydney and $50, 5,500 views. 5.5, we picked up one client out of that, which makes me 40 to 50 grand. And all it was, I mean, so I spent $1,000 flying down to Darren and doing it. I came out 49 grand ahead because someone watched that and said, I mean, and then one of our clients, who happens to be an orthodontist here on the Gold Coast, basically private messaged me straight after that, because it was a pretty long day for me. I flew down and we did all that, and then I went to Macca's afterwards for a bloody coffee and a hamburger. And I looked at my phone, and it was the orthodontist here on the Gold Coast, lovely lady, and she just said, oh, look, I love that Disneyland thing. We were going to, you know, put an incentive on, but if people get Invisalign braces, which are, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 grand, they'd get a trip to Movie World or something like that. Forget that. You've just convinced us it's got to be Disneyland. And she said, is there any chance we can have a chat about it tomorrow? Now, I don't make any more money out of her. I just give her good value because she's already a member. But we had someone sign up private coaching because they saw me outside the whole thing doing Disneyland. That's how powerful this thing is. So all they saw there, did you notice that once when I was walking out, I said, look, Darren happens to be a client of mine, and he does everything that I tell him to do. It's the sort of client that I really like, and we have the Institute of Wow, da-da-da. Well, of course, it was repeated with links above the thing. So I'm going like that before I turn the camera on with a link above. But that's what you've got to do. Do not do a Facebook Live without a description of what you're going to be talking about and also a link. And that link should go through not to your website, but to your sales page for whatever you're flogging at the time. Yeah,
John, can I just ask a question? With obviously that description is actually that description up there is actually to do a live broadcast. You said earlier today that you have got some pre-recorded stuff that you have got somebody putting out for you as though it's live.
Yep.
Only because I'm thinking we get a lot of comments like asking, what is it like in one of our classes, for example? So what's your, are you pre-recording stuff and then putting it out through a certain setting? Like, you know, if you
Yep.
didn't even just use your phone, if I had somebody that came and recorded footage for me,
Yep.
Can you sort of repackage that as though it's that?
That's what we do. So you guys know that I do a webinar every fortnight. I've just cut all those webinars up into 9.5-minute pieces. And the reason they're 9.5, you can go for 4 hours on Facebook, but you can only go up to 10 minutes on LinkedIn. And I don't want to bloody do too many more videos, so we just actually cut up all the good parts of what we've got. I've got 300 videos, right, in the last 2 years. So we've just grabbed little pieces out of that, normally me criticising people, and that goes for about 9.5 minutes. And we've letterbox dropped that, so or letterboxed it, not dropped, letterbox. So there's a heading on the top, heading on the bottom with my video in between. And the heading on the top will have something like a stunt mentality. It'll be, your jaw will drop when you see how easy it is to beat Amazon. Okay, so, and that idea came from Darren Peed. Darren Peed, when he was kind enough to give me a testimonial, said, this guy, meaning me, has Amazon-proofed my business. Because he said Amazon are getting into candy, believe it or not. So he said, because he's now put the Disney stuff and our shop front looks like it's in Disneyland, and all the stuff we're doing on Facebook with Count the M&Ms and all that, this guy has Amazon-proofed my business. And I thought, oh, that is unreal. That is fantastic. That's almost as good as the Business Whisperer. So therefore, it'll have how to Amazon-proof your business, and then my spiel from 6 months ago that I videoed in a studio will come up for 9.5 minutes, and it'll come up on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and LinkedIn. And for me, what I'm finding now is I'm getting good traction from LinkedIn. Facebook's got a mixed crowd. It's got a lot of little one-man bands in there, which are not the business I'm looking for, because they're hard yards, and normally they've got no money. So therefore, we have now 14,000 LinkedIn, is it? Yeah, I've got about 10,000 on Facebook and 14,000 on LinkedIn, and we're concentrating more on LinkedIn because they're better businesses, yeah. They're better businesses.
John, what I'm trying to understand is what's the difference between Facebook Live as opposed to just putting video out?
You'll find the Facebook Live will get you more traction. There's not a lot of difference, no, but it'll get you more traction, not what it has for me at least anyway, and what I've been reading about it, it seems to be the case. If I do one from the office, I'll get about 20% of the views that I'll get if I'm standing outside McDonald's.
Okay. So it's kind of the more authentic content.
It is. It's like, because we're voyeurs, we like to look on people's lives these days, courtesy of what Ozzy Osbourne kicked off all those years ago, but now it's the Kardashians and it's Burke's Backyard or whatever. All of these lifestyle shows, the ones that are popular, the ones where we're eavesdropping, fly on the wall on what someone's life is like. So if you're sitting in a desk, which I made the mistake of doing that, they know it's a sell. They just know it's a sell, so they keep on scrolling. So what I've done, even if I just walk out the front yard or backyard, I mean, I feel like a dickhead doing it because I put my coat on, the shirt, but I've got a pair of shorts on, and I'll just walk out and go, oh, look, JD here, look, I just came from a meeting, blah, 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 and I can't wait to get the damn thing over to go up and put a T-shirt back on, but you might say, well, why don't you just do that? I think all of us have to choose our brand persona, okay? And mine happens to be cheeky, a bit sarcastic, but still businesslike. So I can hopefully get away with being cheeky and say things that normally, you might not get away with, but I've got to say that I don't take myself seriously, but I really take the business seriously. So you've got to have this on. And I've seen a lot of these guys over in America that are supposedly business coaches where they will do a lot of their lives from all sorts of different things, and I just think to myself, no, they're not sticking with the brand. If you're I'm not David Jones, but if you're David Jones, you've got to be David Jones. So, but every time I've done one from the office, because it might be raining, the views on that are about 20% of what they would be if I walked outside, yeah.
How do you do 4 or 5 a day though, John?
Yeah, I know, Ian, and look, I thought the same thing because, when I was watching this guy overseas, I was following him, and he was saying that basically, anybody familiar with Grant Cardone? Anybody familiar with him? Okay, great, okay. Well, this guy is a machine in America. He is, if you think I'm a show-off, he makes me look like a mute, okay? He's big on real estate training and so forth. He held, you'll never ever get to talk to him if you're in one of his programs because he gets, 35,000 people come to the Miami Stadium to come to his thing. But not just him, he's got ClickFunnels on, he's got all the cool kids at lunchtime. But this guy is insanely a show-off. He does 16.9 Facebook Lives a day. 16.9 Facebook Lives a day. And on top of that, he has 32 a day pre-recorded going out as well. And he has 21 million followers around the world. Okay, so I'm not quite in that league, but I do realise the more you tell, the more you sell. So the fact is that I don't want to do this shit. I don't really feel like it, but every now and again I'll say to go, oh God, I can't put a coat on. I'll stand outside and I'll do something because I hadn't done one that day. And it doesn't mean to say you get a sale out of every one, but what we've found is that the more you tell, the more you sell. There's no question about that. So what we've done is got the inventory of all the old videos that I've got, which you may not have because I've been in this game, so you've got a shitload of these things, but they were done in a studio. So there's the green screen with the Channel 9 backdrop and all that sort of stuff. I've just cut all them up and they're going out all the time. So even today, for example, and I'm not going to do one, well, I'm doing one now, but if I'm not going to do one today, 5 or 6 or 7 of them will go out anyway. And by the time we've been through all 300 of them, they'll just loop again. They'll just keep on looping because, many people didn't see them, so therefore it just loops again. So even if I'm doing nothing, there'll be 4 or 5 or 6 go out a day. But if I can supplement them with another 3 or 4, just me going out and having a coffee in a minute with one of you guys saying, oh, Ian, tell me, how do you find the JD's conference? It's rocket fuel. It is rocket fuel. And you can never predict when it's going to pop. I might go for 2 weeks and you don't get an inquiry for private coaching, and all of a sudden 3 will just come in. And Gail, I just walked in on Gail yesterday, she was doing something, and she just hung up from this guy, and he was the guy that sold a business in Hotham or whatever else in America, in Melbourne, sorry, and he wanted to open up a caravan. Well, he is opening up a caravan park, and he said, look, I feel like Gail told me, he said, I feel like I know you because I do a Sonny and Cher from time to time because this guy in America, he was doing it. He said, look, do that. And so therefore Gail might be in the car with me from time to time, and Greg, you've seen enough of these, haven't you? And I'll just do some gags with Gail and we have a bit of fun. And he said, Gail, I feel like I know you. And she said, why? Have you been to one of John's things? He said, no, I watched all his Facebook Lives. And it's your own TV show. But you can't do it if you're boring, okay?